Hello there, welcome to Target Radio Podcasts. Yes, we have a podcast for your ears. Every week here on the show, on our live shows that is, we try and get an interesting persons, artists, band members, music, poets, film playwrights. We even get, we'll try and get everyone. We'll try and get everyone that's interested in our genre of music that we portray here on Target Radio. So what we do is sit them down, we have a telephone interview, sometimes a live interview, and we discuss all things in their profession. So stay tuned here. This one is an absolute blast. You're going to love this, and I'll be back at the end to obviously, tell you what's coming up in the very near future. So I am the Podfather. I will now tell you that this is Target Radio Podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, and if you think we deserve it, don't forget to leave us a 5-star rating. That would be rather nice. Thank you very much indeed. So over to me, Cookie, and obviously to Andy Top Walker as well. And sit tight, and enjoy. This is Target Radio.
Dear God in heaven, please let this show go okay, with no major boobs or goofs, or is it goofs? Please don't let me tread all over the intros of records, or say a naughty word.
Every Monday night.
Every Monday night?
Every Monday night?
Every Monday night.
And every Monday night.
I listen to Sean Cook.
Oh, Sean Cook.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We'd like to say that in our opinion it is not suitable for children or for those of you who may have a nervous disposition.
Oh, Sean Cook.
Well, thank you very much. I'd like to say thank you very much to John Chidlow for his Frontline Reggae show. New one this Saturday. Oh. Now, has anyone seen the news? Yes, of course you have. Leicester is told to stay in lockdown after the spike in COVID-19 cases. What are you doing, Leicester? Come on, sort yourselves out. Of course, the rest of the country at the moment are looking like they're going to be reopening most, if not all, the shops on July the 4th. This Saturday. Yes, we're nearly at the end of June already. Over 100 days in lockdown. How have you survived? Answers on the back of a postcard and send them somewhere. Not here, though. Anyway, no coronavirus deaths in Scotland for the 4th day. Fantastic. That's the place to be. That's it. We're all going to move to Scotland now. Come on. Apart from Leicester. Okay, you stay where you are. I'm only kidding. Hopefully everyone's safe and secure. Remember, still keep that social distancing where possible. Anyway, on to tonight's show then. That's my little rant over, all right? We got none other. Yes, we've got him, Mr. Phil Sorrell. Or was it Sorrell? I'm going to find out later when we talk to him around about 15 minutes' time. He works at the Caretaker Studios, no less. Apparently he's a multiple musician, producer, remix artist, bass player. He does backing tracks and probably makes a fine brew as well. We'll find out all about that, what he does, and Phil has given me 4, yes, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, brand new, never heard of tracks before from 4 marvellous artists. And massive as well. We'll be playing those as well in the next hour. We haven't got enough hours in the day to talk to Phil, so we're going to make it general. If you've got any questions, let us know. Okay, I need to go to McDonald's now, so I'm going to leave you with this one. Of course, it's The Who. And it's 5:15. Actually, it's just gone 7 o'clock, but don't worry about that. Sit back and enjoy this one. It's live from Wembley. And you might even hear me shouting and screaming. Yes, I was there. And I say this every single week is because I actually mean it. I've never spoken to Phil before, and I'm just hoping this is going to work. Right, here we go.
Hello.
Hello, would that be Phil?
It certainly is.
Now, I'm pronouncing your name. Is it Phil? Oh, you're going to have to turn your radio down at your end, I'm afraid. Is that Phil Sorrell or Sorrell?
Sorrel.
Sorrell, there we go. I was trying to be posh for you,
Sorrel, if you're being posh. I'm posh.
Now, just before we carry on, Phil, now, for obvious reasons, if you can turn your radio down at your end for us, because I can hear a little bit of a repeat going on there. That's why they say turn them down, okay, when you get a second. And while you're doing that, I'm going to make sure that we got the right Phil here now. Now, are you a multiple musician, producer, remix artist, bass player, I'm getting there, backing tracks in the Caretaker crew? Is that you?
Yes, I like to think so.
Well, that's good news. Also, did you study cabinet making at London College of Furniture?
I did indeed.
Hey!
Yeah.
And you're married and you live in London?
Yeah.
Excellent. I think we've got the right Phil.
Yeah, we'll go into that later.
Oh, there we go. That is brilliant. Lovely. It's nice to have you, Phil. How are you?
I'm okay, mate.
Oh, that is, yeah, not bad at all. I've been looking forward to this over the weekend, and obviously I've been quite busy sorting out stuff. And then, what do, Phil? You throw 4 great tracks at me. Come on, what's that all about? I didn't get a chance to listen to them all.
It was going to be 3, but I couldn't leave Joel out. We've just done this amazing... It's probably the best track on the album, but it's not, unfortunately, finished.
Okay, no worries.
So I've sent you one of the other album tracks. It's actually the opener.
Oh, marvellous, marvellous. And we'll get to listen to that. But what I thought we'd do, Phil, because obviously time is short on a Monday evening, and we'd like to get lots of you in there rather than lots of the music as well. Well, try and sort of balance it out a little bit. So I thought what we'll
that's
do...
what I was thinking.
Yeah, what we'll try and do, Phil, is I thought we'll play sort of snippets of it during the course of the interview, and then you can tell us sort of like how you went about the production side of it, because I'm really, really quite interested in it, because, I've only ever been to a couple of recording studios in my life, and I'll be honest with you, I've been on the sort of outside looking in, thinking, right, dare I say anything? And I think, no, I'll probably act like a complete child and think, what's that knob do? What's that button? You know, if I press that button, what would happen? Would it explode and things like that? So, how did you get into this? Because obviously cabinet making?
Well, I've actually been into it since I was about 13.
Wow.
I used to multi-track with 2 cassette decks.
Oh, and why not?
I'd play into one and then play that back and play another guitar into it or sing into it. It's basically the rudimentary way of multi-tracking.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, I think...
And then, because I'm quite ancient, in my late teens, Porter Studios came along.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
I've just always had home studios. Analog at first.
Yeah.
And then I spent 5 years in Amsterdam, where my daughter comes from.
Okay.
And came back and was kind of, through a job, forced into getting a computer. And the first thing I thought when I got a computer is like, right, I'm going to get some music software and learn how to use it.
Okay, yeah.
So I spent the next sort of 4 years teaching myself Cubase, and then came into a little bit of money and bought a Mac, got Logic, and that's where it all sort of kicked off.
Marvellous, lovely. And prior to the, obviously the the studio mixing and obviously the overlaying, dubbing, and all of the other technicality and terms and stuff, you're a musician as well.
Oh yeah.
So what's your sort of instrument of choice?
Well, I don't know. It's really 50-50.
Okay.
I'm actually, if I'm honest, I prefer being a recording musician.
Right.
I do like gigs, but I get really stressed.
I know what you mean,
Especially
yeah.
at 57 now.
Oh, well,
Which is why I play bass. So,
yes!
On the recordings, I play a lot of the other stuff.
Of course, yeah. I mean, obviously, you're hidden behind a screen, if you like, you know, when you're doing all your
I
production
wish.
stuff. And I suppose, you know, a bass player can be hidden. I mean, obviously, they're part of the engine room, as they call them, you know, that
Well,
along
I think
with the
it's
drums,
an
you know.
important instrument, and we have a magnificent drummer,
Yes.
Jake Stanton, who's just Superman on the drums.
Oh, there he goes.
So it's a pleasure to be a bass player. And I was, I wrote the songs in the bands I was in, but I always played bass and sang backup vocals.
Of course, yeah. And I mean, obviously, your name has popped up over the last few weeks and months. Even though I knew of the Caretaker Studios, a few good years ago now. Obviously, I've interviewed the likes of Bill Newton, obviously John Donegan, Manny, who's coming up next week. By the way, we've got Manny Pezzaroli coming on, Darren Tuck, and obviously we've spoken to Darren J. Connett last year. Quite a character, Darren. Love Darren. He's brilliant.
Oh, Darren's amazing.
He is. He's a lovely fella. I love him to bits, and I will get to see him live one day.
He's got such a high profile, and that first album, when we dropped it, it just really. Oh,
that's okay. We are live on air. I do apologise of his loose. That's okay. His loose lips. We'll edit that bit out before, obviously.
I didn't realise.
There we go. Hang on. We're slapping him. There we go. It's passion, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we do apologise. Right. Let's talk about something you don't swear at. Cards.
Yeah.
No, we're only joking. Right, so Phil, so you started off, obviously getting into this producing side. Who was your first sort of person that you started to produce then, please?
Well, I've always done home recordings and produced myself. I've always been really into the idea of playing all the instruments.
Yeah.
I'm a very reluctant singer, so I've always tried to find people that will sing and write lyrics and melodies
and do that for
you, the music that I write.
Okie dokie.
Which actually I've done a fair bit with Darren, and on Putney with John, I did it for it. The whole album is. I wrote the music, and it's John. He wrote the melodies and lyrics, which are incredible.
And I mean, obviously, speaking to John, literally, and he said to me, he goes, it's like an engine. He just sent you over the music, and he said, right, just put some lyrics to that. And he said, it was so good, it's so easy and so, wonderful the way you do things,
What happens is I hear the demo, which is often an acoustic guitar. In the days when people could come to the room, it would be what I'd call a ghost beat. I'd find a basic groove that just repeated itself over 4 bars and get the artist to play first the guitar, put the guitar down so I've got the notes.
Yeah.
And then sing over the top of that. And from that, I would rebuild the drums. Then put the bass in, then build the drums to the bass, then put piano, organs, stuff like that, and last of all put guitars, or Manny would do guitars, or the artist might want to do guitars.
Yeah, of course.
More often than not, it's me, because I'm a guitarist as well, really. First, it was my first instrument.
Gotcha. Who got you into music?
It was a Paul McCartney job that I ended up playing bass. No one else wanted to do it.
No, exactly. So, who got you into music then? Who's your sort of inspirational sort of people that you looked up to?
That's a weird one because at primary school, I played violin, but I wasn't very academic, and I was quite a naughty child. So I never bothered learning the manuscript. So I was playing all the correct notes pretty well, if not very well. But my bow wasn't always going the right way because that's all within the manuscript.
Of course, yeah.
So my first love really was classical music.
Oh, wow.
I remember as a bit more than a toddler, sitting by my parents' stereogram or something like that, they call it, I guess, now.
Yep.
With I worked this out earlier, my left ear to the left speaker, not understanding stereo, of course, then. And it would be a book with musical interludes in the middle. And I would get really bored with the story dialogue, waiting to hear the classical music in between.
Of course, yeah.
And I do a lot of that now, you know, a lot of cross melodies with strings and brass and stuff like that.
Do you know, it's quite...
And I think that's where that came from.
And there's a lot of artists now, I mean, obviously mainstream artists, that are sort of like go with this sort of, you know, Paul Weller, for instance, goes with this sort of classical accompanying his sort of hits and stuff. And it really works. I mean, Quattrofini done it a couple of years ago, didn't they?
George Martin that kicked it off.
Yes, it was, yeah. You know.
And a lot of my influence comes from him and the other guys that did scores for the Beatles stuff.
Yeah, I mean, some of that stuff, you know, I mean, I love classic Quadrophenia. I mean, it's not for everyone's taste. Not everyone enjoyed it. Not everyone thought it was a good thing to have. You know, and I think music is one of those things that separates us and divides us, but ultimately brings us together as well, which is sort of a contradiction in terms, really, what I've just said. But I think it is that, you know, with music and everything. So, obviously, with your producing side, when did you realise that you were, you know, good at it, I suppose?
Well, I've been doing this a long time now. I'm 57 and I started music really when, like I say, at primary school. I started my first band at about 14, covers band. Moved to London from Kent at 19 and started a originals band and did that all through the 80s.
Okay.
Then met a Dutch woman and moved to Amsterdam. We had our daughter, who's Izzy, who now is quite an integral part of Caretaker with her backing vocals.
Yeah.
I call her my secret weapon.
And why not?
It's not very secret anymore.
Not anymore now, no.
That was kind of the idea.
I said, shh, don't tell anyone, okay? I'm just talking to all the listeners out there. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So she's been a sort of like, almost like, as you say, your secret weapon. And she's got some wonderful harmonies, I've been told.
Yeah, I mean, you put her on the track and it just lifts it.
Yeah.
You know, totally.
Indeed.
I think she's probably on most of... I don't think she's on Joel's track tonight, but I think she's on all the others.
Gotcha, lovely. And what I thought we'd do, we'll play sort of about a minute of each one of these, you know, just to tickle people's taste buds. Because obviously I don't want to play the whole lot, just in case they've got their tape recorders out, Phil. You know, remember a tape recorder where they used to tape the top 40 and stuff like that?
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. So I'm going to talk over the beginning and talk over the, you know, the 30 seconds or so. Play about a minute, and then obviously we'll get back to you and find out a little bit more how each track sort of works. So what we'll do, we'll just press that button down there, and hopefully this will work. Now, I thought we'd mention, you know, you've mentioned Joel, so we'll start off with Joel then, and tell us a little bit about Joel before we play it.
Well, I knew Joel from Darren.
Okay.
Who, I mean, like I say, I can't say enough good things about Darren. He kicked me off with the first album.
Yeah.
And then I got to know about the Troubadours and Joel, and I went to their show that they did recently, their sort of reformation show, and just in the sort of crowd, you know, chatting crowd, I just said to him, I really want to record a solo album with you.
Okay.
And that, not much more was said, and then he contacted me.
Yeah.
We've done it the way I've done. Well, I'm halfway through Bill's album. We did the Darren Tutt EP.
Yes, a good EP as well. Good EP.
Been to my studio.
No, they've all said that. They've all said, like, you know, you do it over the phone and stuff.
Out, and he came once to do the vocals on that.
Wow.
But it's been file sharing. I mean, it's modern technology.
It is, and, you know, obviously you don't even have to come to a studio these days, ladies and gentlemen. Right, let's have a listen to this one then. This is Joel Rogers and Losing You.
Palms gone off in the night today. Don't want no difference between what I do and I sit and I feel. Yes, I feel like I'm losing you. People tell me what I ought to feel, but I know who I am and I know what's real. And I feel, yes, I feel like we're losing you. Something wrong in the world today. People telling me what to say. Don't know whether to laugh or cry. Don't know whether to run and hide.
Now that sounds absolutely marvellous. I heard this once. I've only played all of these songs that you sent over to me just the once. I quite like that. It's nice, it's rich, and it's got some really good sort of vocals to it as well. It's got quite a good, it's got quite a good range there, hasn't it?
It's a great rock and roll album.
Yeah.
I mean, we've actually finished an album's worth. We're just doing some extra tracks.
Yeah.
I think the one we're working on at the moment will be a single alone.
Okay, no worries at all. Looking forward to hearing that in its entirety.
Will probably come out sooner than the album.
Gotcha, yeah, indeed. Now, when it comes to making an album, what's your sort of format there? I mean, do you look for an odd number or an even number? I mean, obviously, I'm going back in the days when, you used to have a record, and you used to have, 6, 7, 8 tracks on one side, and you turn it over and you got more tracks on the other. But how do you sort of come up with the number of tracks, and who makes that decision ultimately?
Well, ultimately, the artist.
Right.
Who's paying me to make it. But I would always advise 10 or 11.
Okay, no worries at all.
If you want to go to vinyl, you've got 20 minutes per side.
Yeah.
Before you start losing quality.
Of course, yeah. Does the grooves go closer together, isn't it? The more you put on there.
Yeah. And I mean, the first vinyl I did was with Ross Harper and the 555s, and we actually had to drop a track.
Right.
Off the album, which it doesn't ruin it, but when you've lived with those songs in that order,
yes,
for that amount of time, it's the continuity.
So you would say between 10 and 11 is a sort of norm, and what's the most you've ever done?
What's the most?
Yeah, what's the most you've ever put onto a
well,
like a vinyl?
I've done 2 solo things from the studio. I did an album called Electro because I'm also a big fan of electronic music.
Yeah, you and me both, actually.
More the sort of 80s stuff than now.
Yes. Is that sort of follow on from the new wave, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, more sort of. I put one of my tracks on the show and they really slagged it off and said, "Oh, it sounds like Depeche Mode," and I was like, "Great, I'll take that."
Yeah, we'll have that. We'll have that all day. Thank you very much indeed. I love a bit of Depeche Mode. Come on, you know. Did you see Manny's cover of it, by the way? His acoustic cover on the guitar.
Sorry, second.
Did you see Manny's? What was it? Personal Jesus, I think it was.
Yes,
He done
I see all Manny's stuff. We live round the corner from each other.
Well, that's handy.
We're sort of best mates-ish. Well, he's certainly one of my best mates.
Oh, he's fantastic. I love Manny. He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing this Caretaker with me. It's just he did the Buzzcocks gig, and I kind of said to him, I don't want to be left in a position where I can't do a session because you're rehearsing with Steve, and he had he does a full-time job as well, so
I know he's a workaholic, that boy. He's a workaholic.
Mutual agreement that I'd just carry on my own, but
yeah,
we're still best buds.
Of course, yeah. You don't want to fall out over something as trivial as that, really.
He's working on Darren Connick's album, so and whenever there's a bit of guitar that I can't get my hands around, he's the first man I'm on the phone to.
Absolutely. Right, Manny, sort this out. Yeah, I mean, he's very, very good. I mean, when I first met him down in Brighton last year, and he done a Who cover for us, Love Reign Over Me, and oh my, the hairs on my neck.
Video of it.
Oh, the hairs on my neck just stood up, and I thought, wow, this guy, not only can he play, he's got passion. Oh, he's got passion behind it as well, and you can just see it in his face. His whole body oozes music and everything, and he's absolutely fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not come across Manny Pezzaroli, which I can now confidently say, it took me about a year to get his pronunciation right, and
It took
but
me about 3 years.
Oh,
to
my
stop him singing with an Italian accent.
do you know, I was doing it in the bath. I was doing anyway.
He's going to swear at me for that.
Oh my goodness me! But he's fantastic. Check out all of his back catalogue, and obviously look out for his new stuff as well, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
he's got a new single coming out very soon.
I
the
have.
First, I believe.
I have got it, and I will be
Yeah, I've got it.
leashing it out very soon here on Target Radio as well.
Very, very good.
Now, one guy that we did have on our radio station just last week was John Donegan, and you've got a brand new track from him as well. This is called This World Is Enough. Not enough, it's This World Is Enough. Tell us a little bit about that, if you may, please, and then I'll play a snippet of it, if I may.
Well, this is from Putney, which I say we co-wrote.
Yeah.
I wrote music with John in mind.
Yeah.
And I had some just spare bits of music on my hard drive that I played him a couple of them, and he said, yeah, send them over. He wanted to just be a writer for, I think it was the summer.
Yeah.
Can't remember after the lock-in. My brain's gone.
Yours and mine both, yeah.
My brain's just, it's all it can think logically about. We both thought it sounded a bit like a Bond theme. And I think there's a Bond film called This World Is Not Enough.
That's correct, yeah. I think that
So
was
it's a
Pierce
play
Brosnan,
from
I think
John.
it was.
Very clever play, as per usual.
Yes.
This World Is Enough.
Right, let's have a little listen to it,
I have
shall
a lot
we?
of time for John. He's very, very talented.
I love
guy.
John. He's absolutely fantastic.
Very diverse.
Yes.
And such a nice bloke.
He is indeed. When I got to chat with him last week, I was a little worried at first. I thought, well, not worried, I suppose, but no, he's got a few strings to his bow. I mean, there's a lot of sort of podcasting and stuff like that, and we had to have a little bit of fun with it and everything. And the guy is just naturally likeable, lovable even. You know, he's really such a lovable, laid-back fella. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you've not heard any of his work, please check it out. It's all over Facebook. And, of course, you know, you can buy and obviously download some of his great music here. Here's one then. This is called The World Is Enough. And as you quite rightly said there, Phil, it's got a sort of a James Bond sort of feel to it at the beginning of that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's, you know, where I sort of stray into the electro bass and that sort of side of it.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And the lyrics, he wrote them sort of quite dark and with some Bond-esque
I love it.
themes.
I absolutely love it, yeah. It just proves what a diverse artist he really is, because he can turn his hand to sort of like quite a different sort of genre of music there.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I sometimes worry that he goes too diverse, but I think he needs to do that.
Yeah,
Because he's
absolutely.
just so creative that, you know, he'll be doing one thing one day and then he'll be doing like a, you know, a standard pop song one day, and the next day it's like Revolution #9 on the White Album.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the difference
that's
between chalk
great
and cheese, isn't it?
to me, though.
Obviously,
I mean,
you know.
I get bored doing that sort of stuff, but
yeah.
I love his stuff.
Yeah, he
I
is
love
very
it all. I love
diverse,
the
yeah.
weird stuff and the stuff we do together.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his album
He's
as
just
well.
a very creative, talented guy.
Absolutely. When's his album ready?
I believe I've got a sheet here ready for this sort of stuff.
Good.
Putney is out on the 21st of August.
Oh, looking forward to that, ladies and gentlemen. And John's
It's
already
a
told me,
cracker.
he said to me, it's absolutely brilliant. Each song takes you on a journey. Put it that way. That's all we're
Yeah.
going to say on it. Okay, looking forward to playing some of that.
That's amazing.
And we're going to get him back on the radio as well. We're going to go track by track and find out a little bit
Brilliant.
about each song, each track, and the journey where it takes you. I love doing those sort of things, album reviews and stuff,
Wicked,
because
man. Yeah,
it just
yeah.
makes the journey
I
so
love
much better.
listening to 'em.
Yeah, they're good because you get an artist's impression of the actual song that they're singing and performing, which is really, really good. Now, another person that I found very, very interesting, okay, was this next chap that we're going to play a little track from, Bill Newton, or Psycho Billy. Okay,
Yeah, Phil.
now, this is
Again,
brilliant.
Very, very diverse guy.
Yes, indeed. So tell us a little bit about
Lyrics.
this track that you sent over to me. What's it called, and generally, what's it about?
I sent it because it's my favourite from. I think we're 5 songs in to the album, which is going to be. We're going to record 12, and I think we're going to release 10. But
Okay.
he's the boss, so I might be wrong on that.
We'll hear from him later. You said we're going to do 13!
Sorry.
Excuse you. Okie dokie. Right, let's have a little listen to it, and then we'll get back and find out what your take is on this one. Okay,
Sure.
Here we go.
Okay.
Now, I'm scared already.
When the darkness comes around, can you just close your eyes on life? Or will you go into a place that's filled with light? I see through you and all the choices that you've made. Oh, me.
Oh, it definitely draws you in, this one, doesn't it, Phil?
Give it a little bit longer.
Okay.
It's too Sorry.
It's coming.
Beating hearts, faster than bullets. It comes apart in your hands. When it's midnight once again, and all the vampires come alive, who'll hold you close.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting scared over here.
Yeah, well, that's what I tried to do with it, make it a real sort of dark, gothic track. I mean, I can understand you've only got a short amount of time.
Yeah,
It's a
indeed.
6-minute song.
Yes, indeed.
But
It's a
there's
brilliant
like
song.
Big string, middle 8, and mellotrons and all kinds happening on it. It's a fabulous track.
It is very, very nice. And obviously, I've
I
only
think
heard
it
it
will-
once.
To me, it is the single of the album.
Brilliant
You know,
stuff.
the actual top track.
Indeed.
Having said that, we've got 5 more to do, so we may well do.
Well,
it
we'll have to stop
for
chatting.
later.
We'll have to stop chatting in a minute and get your finger out. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Now, before we finish off our interview and obviously play one more a tune from obviously a vast collection of music that you've got here at the moment. Now, I mean, obviously, once the lockdown is sort of like we are unlocking the lockdown, how's it affected you?
I have to be honest, and I feel a bit guilty about it. I've been more busy than I was before. Because rather than people dragging their asses. I don't think that's a swear word.
No, we're allowed to say ass or arse. It depends on which side of the pond you're on. But that's good. That's a good
I'm
word.
talking about a donkey kind of thing.
Oh, there we are.
Across to North London.
Yeah.
It's an email of a file or 2 files. Most people that have got a Mac have GarageBand.
Yes, they do,
which
yeah.
matches fairly well with what I use, which is Logic Pro X.
Yes, I know Logic Pro X. I'm not proficient with it, though, I can tell you that.
Once I've got that guitar part and that vocal part,
Yeah.
I've got what I need to pretty much build the whole song.
Of course, yeah. So,
and then we can go back and redo the vocals at another point if necessary. It's not always necessary.
No, indeed. Now, obviously, with social distancing, lots of hand washing and sanitising and things, are you opening your doors anytime soon?
Well, actually, when I put a post up last night, I said there's some big news. We're actually moving. We're relocating.
Oh, right.
I'm going to have to ask my wife where. Hampshire.
Oh, right. Okay, not a million miles away from us.
We have a flat in Finsbury Park.
Yes.
And we're... All right, I'm not allowed to talk about it. Anyway, we're buying a house.
Okay.
Which means I've got a control room and then a space outside to build a playing area.
You're allowed to have a man shed.
Sorry, say again?
I was saying you're allowed to have a man shed then.
Basically, yeah, but a proper man shed. And I'm going full time with it.
Oh, fantastic. That is brilliant.
I'm taking the plunge and
doing it, yeah.
I'll be able to record full bands because I've never been able to do drums here.
No.
Which is not such a bad thing because my drum software is just amazing.
That's it, but sometimes it's nice to have the real thing there as well, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
To have that feel, to have the drumsticks and everything else, yeah.
Certain situations, the band's drummer wants to drum on the record.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Which is totally understandable.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Well, you and I both got something in common because I've got some great news to let everyone else know as well. Because Target Radio's moving studios as well in about 6, 7, 8 weeks' time. So I'm going to be off air personally. I won't be doing any live stuff for about 4 or 5 weeks once I get the studio sorted out. But we're moving to Lincolnshire.
Right.
So we've got a nice studio to move into, and I think attached to it is some sort of dwellings where we're going to live as well.
Cool.
I was looking for a studio. I was looking for a studio first, then the house to go with it. But don't tell my wife, okay? And I'm confident she's actually out walking the dog at the moment and not tuning in. Otherwise, I'll be sleeping in the studio tonight. But both you and I will be doing things.
Sleep most of the time.
You fall asleep on top of the Mac computer. Other computers are available, ladies and gentlemen. Right, before we let you go then, so it looks like then, if anyone wants to come and see you, it's Leafy, Hampshire that we're going to be looking to try and find you. And,
and actually, funnily enough, and the clincher for me was the road is called Rock Gardens.
Oh, that's fantastic. There we go. Everyone's going to be Googling that now.
It was a big sign to me.
it was meant to be, wasn't it, Phil?
And it's got a bar in it.
Well, I'm there as well. I don't want to move now because you're going to be up the road from me at the moment, but then when we move, you won't be anymore. Oh, for goodness sake. Honestly, what do you have to move for?
That's down.
Oh, my goodness me. Never mind. We'll always connect up anyway because the powers that we've got here. We'll have to go live over to you once we've got a live band in your place, and obviously we've got one in ours as well, which would be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So, right, let's move on then to... We've mentioned him an awful lot this evening, and he's probably loving the attention. Darren J. Connett, who's got my Burger King crown at the moment, which I want back.
Well, I owe a lot to this man.
Yes.
And he's such a great guy.
He is. He's lovable.
And I'll be honest, before I started working with him, with his image, and, he's like he'll hate me for saying this, but he is the mod sort of poster boy.
He is, isn't he? He absolutely is.
And I thought, oh God, this guy's going to be I nearly swore again. But you couldn't wish to meet a more humble, nice geezer.
He is a lovely fella.
He's just a
he really is
geezer, and he's very well read, knows his music totally.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which I don't get to meet many people that know music like I do. And he probably is more knowledgeable than me, I would have said.
It's nice to have that on your wavelength as well. So when you're talking about X, and X, he's totally with you and he's totally along.
Exactly,
yeah. So, obviously you can get the work done just as quick or even quicker. But obviously you're on the same wavelengths, excuse the pun there, and you know where you're going next with each sort of shift of the keys and stuff. So you're both in tune, if you like.
Exactly. And he never ceases to amaze me. I mean, we did a piano track on Loyalty Lies, so I thought for the next album I'll do a completely sort of orchestral track.
Oh, fantastic.
And it takes him right out of his comfort zone.
Well, he deserves it, for
He
goodness sake.
came in
Come
the
on.
studio and he sang it in one take, and it was effing amazing.
Absolutely. Well, the J. Connick one take
I had
wonder.
to stand up and shake his hand afterwards. It was just incredible.
Oh, he's going to be now known as the Connick one take wonder.
Oh, he is, he is round here.
Oh, fantastic! So this one is
great,
called
man.
Down in the Wasteland, and it's up to you. Do you want me to play this track in its entirety?
Yeah, why not?
We'll do that at the end of the interview then, and what I'll do, I'll get you to put you on your posherous voice, if possible, to obviously announce that in there as well. Now, obviously, we've mentioned the Caretaker Studios. It's on the move soon, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm not sure if you're going to be opening your doors anytime soon, because obviously...
We won't actually be down. I'll be in the situation that I'm in almost immediately.
Okay.
Because I'm moving into the control room. It's the live room I'm going to build. So
Right.
that will be the bit that will take longer.
Yes, of course, yeah.
But I mean, I'm working on 4 albums and God knows what else, so I can't
You've got enough at the moment.
actually stop.
You've got enough on your plate at the moment, but if a budding musician wanted to come and try and record something like an EP or a single or something like that, what's the first thing he needs to be doing?
Well, writing a good song.
Of course, yeah.
But what, you mean with me?
Yeah, with you. I mean, obviously, he's written a song, he's got it on an acoustic sort of level, and he wants to take it sort of like to the next stage. I mean, what would you say for him to do?
Where I would want it.
Perfect. Lovely. So,
my forte is working with solo artists that don't have bands.
Okay.
Because I can be a band myself.
You've got the whole kit and cabundle there, as we've,
I can do it myself, or, like I said, if I get stuck, I've got mates like Manny that will come in, and Izzy does backup vocals, and etc. etc.
Perfect. That is exactly what we wanted to hear. That is brilliant. Right, speeding along then, because we've got 4 minutes and 48 seconds of this brilliant young man called Darren J. Connick coming up very shortly. Okay, so we're looking forward to obviously seeing much more of yourself, Phil, and obviously the Caretaker Studios. I'd just like to say thank you ever so much indeed for jumping on this evening.
Well, thank you for having me, Sean.
No, you're very welcome.
It.
That's okay, and I've noted where you actually said a naughty word, so I've got to edit that bit out later for the podcast.
Sorry
No, don't worry.
I thought we were just sort of talking before it all started.
No, when you hear one of these, you know we're live. Hang on, they're coming in now. There they are.
Right, okay.
I love buttons, don't you?
But is there any way I'm going to be able to hear this?
Yes, of course it will. Yeah, once we've done the edit, it'll be on Mixcloud on Friday. I'll turn this part into a podcast along with the 30 seconds or so tracks. That's why I've done it that way. That will be made into a podcast, and that will be available on iTunes very soon.
Excellent.
Lovely. Right, I'll let you then introduce this last track for us. It's Down in the Wasteland. Of course, you know what it is. It's Darren J. Connick. Over to you then, please, Phil. And just before that, thank you once again. You've been a star this evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you also, Sean.
No
you
worries.
have as well.
Thank you
Cheers,
very much.
mate. All the
right,
best.
and yourself. Right, over to you then.
Okay, this is Down in the Wasteland by the magnificent Darren J. Connick.
And once again, Phil Sorrell, thank you very much indeed, my friend. And he's gone. And here is Darren J. Connick.
Comes alive in the wastelands, singing in the rain, pushing down on the walls of Jericho.
What a great track from Darren J. Connick there. and superb. Superbly put together and arranged by Mr. Phil Sorrell of the Caretaker Studios. That's your lot this evening. We got the Ice Cream Man coming up very shortly. Don't forget, Not Ned. We got Paul Taff Macy on with us tomorrow with the whole band. I mean, what could go wrong there? Thanks again for your time this evening. And we'll take care of each other until tomorrow. Take care. Ta-da. And we're back, yes. And what did you think of that for an interview? Wasn't it great? We found out so much. Anyway, thank you very much indeed for joining us for the Target Radio podcasts. I am your pod father. That is me, Cookie. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes if you can, please. If you think we deserve it, 5 stars, please. It does help with the future of Target Radio. Don't forget you can join me every single Monday from 7 through till 8, and then I'm back again on Tuesday 7 through till 9, and then Fridays as well, live here in the studios between 7 and 8. Check out all of our great shows here on Target Radio, and as I say, please, please, please support local artists and the Unsigned Band. Until next time, thank you very much indeed. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.